and welcome back to Maxim's Inside Track. Hope you're all keeping well. We've started to see a little bit of easing of restrictions and freeing up, and I hope everyone's getting the opportunity to get out and about. We have seen another GDT last night, and I'll start this one off with full cream milk powder. We are starting to see some signs of demand starting to pick up in general with some of these food service restrictions lifting, and some of these cafes and clubs and pubs, etc., slowly opening. A neutral result on the GDT. Just be mindful that there's still a big disparity between instant product and regular product, about US $400 a tonne, which is still extremely high and unusual. It's normally about just over 100, so that is keeping that full cream milk powder pricing or that headline number higher. Milk flows in NZ coming into the winter months starting to drift off as expected, and then the conditions are looking pretty good for the next 3 months or so as we're starting to come back into the peak in spring. Demand, China has eased off a little bit. Southeast Asia is carrying a bit of the load for whole milk powder, and we expect this pricing to be stable-ish at these numbers for the short term. Moving on to skim milk powder now, and feels like we've found a base for skim, and demand has been reasonably strong, in particular out of Southeast Asia. So we feel as though there's a base being found for skim, and which is encouraging. The GDT result was neutral, and the private storage is open in the EU. However, we're not sure as to whether there's a great deal of product going in there, and thankfully we haven't seen intervention triggered in that market. So yeah, we're feeling a little bit more confident around skim milk powder, and as demand picks up, hopefully we see these prices stabilise, and might be neutralish around this level for a coming period. Moving on to butter and AMF now. On the GDT, we did see it come off quite a bit, but it was probably just coming back in line with EU and US pricing. Still we have seen some demand for cream start to pick up once again as these food service restrictions are lifted, so that's encouraging for fat prices, and potentially have seen a base found as well, and there is still inventories to be mopped up, but hopefully we can progress forward with some more stable pricing from here on the fats. Moving on to cheddar. Now, we have seen some weakness, obviously significant weakness in the US, just once again around food service. About 50% of that market is food service in the US, so you can imagine these manufacturers and milk flows impacted heavily with those closures. So we are starting to see some demand on that side of it. We've seen some of the futures pick up over there in particular. We saw some oceanic product on the GDT start to drift off back, heading down towards sort of EU-US levels. Once again, demand starting to pick up slowly, so hopefully this category's found a base as well, and we can build on that from there. Moving on to whey lactose now. Whey demand has been pretty solid, and also inventories in the US are waning and aren't as high as probably first thought, and also production is reasonably weak just because that food service sector and production of cheddar and mozzarella is declining based on demand, and therefore less whey. So whey is relatively firmish. Lactose there or thereabouts, and the protein side of it, once again, mixed demand, but yeah, certainly whey powder reasonably buoyant. We have seen government intervention in the US coming up with packages or aid packages to buy cheeses, etc. So it's giving the market a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of, I suppose, stability or a base to start to rebound from. Yeah, who knows where we go from here. Hopefully in Australia and New Zealand we do start to open and get back to some sort of normality, and we can progress forward and increase demand for this dairy sector. Thanks very much for listening once again. Have a great couple of weeks, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thank you.